This is the story of the Times of India, the world's biggest English language newspaper, starting a mass movement for political and social change in the world's largest democracy. The idea was to light a fire that we fanned and fueled over the next several months through press, internet and television advertising, coupled with all manner of public demonstrations, television content programming, news coverage, speech making and voting. It was a call for a new generation of leadership in a country of 1 billion people. It all began with us writing the front page of the Times of India on the 1st of January 2007 to mark the dawn of India's 60th year of independence. Before it went to print, the ad was shown to Amitabh Bachchan, legendary film icon and perhaps the most famous Indian alive, who was inspired enough to read it out on national television that day.
I read the piece and I felt that it was very inspirational, very uplifting for the country.
There are two Indias in this country. One India is straining at the leash, eager to spring forth and live up to all the adjectives that the world has been recently showering upon us. The other India is the leash. One India says, give me a chance and I'll prove myself. The other India says, prove yourself first and maybe then you'll have a chance. One India lives in the optimism of our hearts. The other India lurks in the skepticism of our minds. One India wants. The other India hopes. One India leads. The other India follows. And quietly, while the world is not looking, a pulsating, dynamic new India is emerging. An India that no longer boycotts foreign-made goods, but buys out the companies that make them instead. History, they say, is a bad motorist. It rarely ever signals its intentions when it's taking a turn. This is that rarely ever moment. History is turning a page. For over half a century, our nation has sprung, stumbled, run, fallen, rolled over, got up and dusted herself, and cantered, sometimes lurched on. But now, in our 60th year as free nation, the ride has brought us to the edge of time's great precipice. And one India, a tiny little voice in the back of the head, is looking down at the bottom of the ravine and hesitating. The other India is looking up at the sky and saying, it's time to fly.
Almost overnight, this single ad was downloaded millions of times, triggering off a massive public debate that spilled out onto the streets and in mainstream media, gathering momentum and arousing opinions along the way. So overwhelming was the feedback that we simply had to harness the simmering undercurrent into a nationwide call for action. It was time to launch the next phase of the Times of India campaign and empower normal citizens to stop talking about issues and start doing something about them instead.
Politicians are not the only agency through which we can want change. All citizens in a democracy become active participants, not passive recipients of what the politicians do.
Lead India was a clarion call for the next generation of political leaders to pick up the reins of the world's largest democracy. And to launch it, we wrote the front page of the Times of India once again. But this time, the box office mogul of the Indian film industry, Shah Rukh Khan, stepped up to the cause on India's Independence Day.
How are we going to turn a land of philosophers into a nation of doers? Are we going to keep thinking about what we should be doing or do something about what we are thinking? Are we going to simply shrug our shoulders and blame our infrastructure, our bureaucracy and our political system? Or are we going to roll up our sleeves, get up and actually do something about it?
Over the next few months, the Lead India movement cascaded through the country with over 100 print ads, web registrations, outdoor and a television campaign that saw industrialists, politicians, beauty queens and poets taking the stage. More than 34,000 citizens stepped forward as future political leaders. They were filtered down to 24 and then finally to 8 through a rigorous session of interviews, debates, group discussions and eventually public voting through SMS.
Doesn't matter who becomes a leader, any one of you. But if you make a difference to them, that matters.
Finally, on the 2nd of October, the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, these 8 courageous Indians got ready to face the nation on a prime-time reality show on national television. Star TV, the country's largest television network, now joined the Times of India and the Lead India movement. In the next 10 weeks, these 8 would fan out across the countryside tackling real citizen issues, facing the toughest grilling sessions from accomplished names in public life, and garnering support for the cause they believed in. The Times of India had placed 8 potential new leaders on the national stage. Soon the race to the finish began hotting up, and Indians across the country went to vote via SMS for a winner who would receive $100,000 to fund any public project, win a scholarship to the Kennedy School of Political Leadership, and a platform to contest the next general elections. Finally, on the 9th of February 2008, Mr. R.K. Mishra was crowned by the Times of India as the winner of the Lead India campaign. The honours were done by none other than the former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
I believe Lead India movement is the best movement I have come across.
And so, a campaign that started as one single ad for a newspaper ended up championing the cause for change and fresh leadership in a democracy that's 4 times the size of the USA. Today, all 8 candidates have taken the stage in public life, and the Times of India may have well helped unearth the country's next Prime Minister.